Osama Bin Laden, also known right now as the internet's favorite terrorist. Osama Bin Laden, now dead and former leader of Al Qaeda, the group who orchestrated the 9/11 attacks in New York, has been on everyone's For You pages on multiple social media platforms. Due to his letter to America being leaked and multiple people supporting the letter and Osama bin Laden's ideas. How did this all begin? On March 10, 1957, Osama was born in the Riyadh to the Bin Laden family. Osama traveled a lot in his youth and into his early adult years, going from university to university until 1979, when Osama had joined an Afghan army called Mujahideen against the Soviet Union in the wake of the Afghan-Soviet War. And in 1984, Osama co-founded Maktabu al-Hadmanton, which had recruited foreign Mujahideen into the war. And in 1988, Osama had founded the evil group known as Al Qaeda. And soon in the years of 1990 through 1991, Osama had offered support again and again for Iraq, but was refused by the Saudi Arabia royal family, which instead had accepted the aid of America. Osama's views on pan-Islamism and anti-Americanism soon resulted in his expulsion from Saudi Arabia in 1991. He subsequently shifted his headquarters to Sudan until 1996, where he left the country to establish a new base in Afghanistan, where Osama had come to find out that he was being supported by Taliban members all across the country. Osama and the Taliban were each other's yin and yang. They were both two horrible groups and as well leaders who shared almost identical ideal beliefs and practices. Osama's declaration of war. Then in 1996, Osama had declared fatwa, a fancier way of saying war. The first one being in August of 1996 and the second one being in February of 1998, in which Osama has stated that he was officially declaring war on America, Osama's path of destruction. In 1998, Osama had orchestrated the bombing against the United States Embassy in East Africa, where Osama and a group of his supporters had loaded trucks with explosives, and on August 7th, between the time of 10:30 a.m. to 10:40 a.m., suicide bombers in trucks packed with explosives parked outside the embassies in Dar es Salaam and also in Nairobi were then detonated, and tragically, a total of 213 people were killed from the blast in Nairobi, while luckily only 11 people were killed in the Dar es Salaam bomb. An estimated of 4,085 people were injured altogether. The bomb's energy had registered as 15 metric tons of explosive material. Even though the attacks were targeted only for the US embassies, the majority of deaths and injuries were civilians who had no part in any of this war. This horrifying act had placed Osama bin Laden at the top of the FBI's most wanted list. And on September 11, 2001, a plane had hit the north tower of the Twin Towers, then the south. This soon caused panic throughout New York, and soon during the mass chaos, the Twin Towers had begun to fall and turn into dust. Americans watching in shock and confusion, wondering who could have done this and why. The 9/11 attacks killed 2,996 Americans and injuring tens of thousands more. This atrocious attack against America sparked anger towards Osama and Al Qaeda as well, the aftermath of the attacks. These actions started the United States War on Terror, which George Bush announced in March of 2003, and also had begun a worldwide manhunt against Osama bin Laden and other members of Al Qaeda and the Taliban, which George Bush announced in March of 2003, which spanned over nearly a decade. This had made Osama a quote-unquote hero in the eyes of his followers and supporters. The assassination of Osama bin Laden. On May 2nd, 2011, a great win had happened for the US. Osama bin Laden was shot and killed in his compound in the Pakistani city of Abbottabad by the United States Navy SEALs of SEAL Team 6. This operation was codenamed Operation Neptune Spear. This raid, which was approved by US President Barack Obama, involved 24 Navy SEALs and used 2 Black Hawk helicopters. The raid took about 40 minutes, and bin Laden was killed shortly before 1 a.m. What makes Osama's death hilarious is that when they searched his hard drives, they found terabyte and terabyte of anime and other anime type things, which I can't show for my fear of never getting monetized. And this officially makes Osama bin Laden a loser weeb who was also a terrorist on the side. Al Qaeda confirmed Osama's death on May 6, 2011, were posts that Osama's followers had made on Pakistani military group websites, in which they vowed to avenge his killing, while Osama Bin Laden is currently the internet's favorite terrorist. A TikTok user by the name of Monix2 posted a video where she reads parts of Osama bin Laden's letter to America, in which he shows support for Palestine and disapproves of the funding of Israel by America, and answers questions like, why are we fighting and opposing America? And what are we calling my followers to do? And what are we calling America to do? And what do we want from America? The letter also includes lots of anti-Semitic language and homophobic language. Why people are relating to the letter is because there has recently been some controversy on the war between Israel and Pakistan, and it also states in Osama bin Laden's letter that he condemns the United States' support for Israel and accuses Americans of aiding the oppression of the Palestinian people, which a lot of people are currently agreeing with and supporting today. But the main issue with all of this is that people are beginning to support the other beliefs that Osama bin Laden has stated in that letter, including hate towards America and anti-Semitism and homophobic sayings. TikTok has taken swift action against these videos and also has deleted the hashtag Letter to America, which had well over 2 million views. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe because all subscribers get a shout out in my next video. Last week's subs were Ken and Cannon. Also Tanner, thank you so much for the comments you've been leaving on my videos, man. It really means a lot. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Peace.